Hello everyone, I'm Poe Ryder, and I'm joined by RLCS Season 2 contender, RLRS Season 1, and Dallas Open champion, Mr. Davis Prem Pease.
What's going on?
What's up? So, we're just gonna hop right into it, man. You were the sub for Revival, which, by the way, may have the coolest logo in all of esports, in my opinion. Like Revival's logo is absolutely the best. But you subbed in for Chrome right before playoffs hit, right? So tell me about the situation and how were you feeling going into it? And was there a specific reason you subbed in for Chrome at the biggest moment, or was that your team's decision? What led to that? Because I feel like I've seen some stuff about it, but I don't know that it's like really explained that much. I mean, it's so long. I don't feel like people are gonna hold grudges at this point talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be completely honest, it was what 4 or 5 years ago now, so I don't remember all the details. I do remember that there was some drama, like people just weren't getting along super well inside the team, and so pretty much right before playoffs hit, Geno Cop and Hot Wheels Sid made the decision to put me in for Chrome. And honestly, it was extremely stressful.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because that was the first time that I really had played with either of those two guys,
Dang.
and to be like thrust onto the stage and into the spotlight, essentially my first time with people that I hadn't played with before, was definitely very nerve wracking. And it definitely showed in the first few games. But I eventually got used to it, and it was definitely very surreal because it was like something that like I was friends with a lot of the pros at the time, so it was more so like I was just used to seeing my friends play in front of those thousands of viewers at the time, and like to finally be there myself was definitely very surreal and nerve wracking.
Yeah. And what's it called? Because clearly you couldn't have been absolutely terrible because it's like even if they had issues, which in my opinion, like seeing as now that you never played with those guys, those issues must have been huge for them to just go like, no, we can't have you here. But it's like, yeah, it's clearly like if you were really bad, even if like I would think if you were like not on that level to an extent that even trust issues, they would have just muted and deafened the whole time and just played the whole thing out anyway. So clearly, like,
Yeah.
you weren't that much far off, you know what I mean? To where they pick you over him basically just due to a mentality reason, you know what I mean? A reason,
Yeah.
just attitude wise. And yeah, surreal, yeah, because it's like what you see nowadays, like teams have subs that they play with all the time, and so like I guess I imagine like starting out Rocket League, there was nothing like that. Like you said, it was more relaxed, and we didn't, you didn't really care. But so I know you've been to a lot of lands, right? You've been to I've seen like, and I imagine that still continues. I just know the first 3 or 4 you went to for sure. And,
Yeah, I went as spectators for the first 4.
yeah, and then you went to like Dallas Open. What is like some of the best experiences going into that? Like, as in yeah, what are some things
So
you
just
remember with players and stuff like that, or moments maybe
yeah.
even?
So season 1, pretty much the main person that I was friends with at the time, which like at that time was pretty crazy. I was pretty good friends with Kronovi. And at that time he was friends with Kyle Mass, Sir Pancake, Dragon Tears, some of those names.
Yeah,
And I
yeah, I know
remember
Sir
the
Pancake.
night after day 1, because it was still only 2 days. The night after day 1, all of us went out and saw Suicide Squad in the theaters, which was like crazy because I'm like looking back, I'm watching a movie with the soon-to-be world champion of the very first ever Rocket League championship series. And we're just like at the movies hanging out.
Yeah,
So that was
you're
from the
watching
first
him
land.
more than the movies at that point, right? Like, turn him
Yeah.
back, and yeah. No, that's
Uh,
crazy. Were you there for the Justin? Were you there for the Justin? You for that? Were you there for that one?
um,
I think that would have been
the
EU. I think.
the This is Rocket League one.
Yes. Yes.
That was season 5. I did not go to that one.
Okay. Okay. So you haven't been to any since season like after season 4.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Was there a out of all the ones that you watched, what was like the most exciting moment for you? Like watching as a spectator.
Um, that was probably be season 4. That was when Squishy hit his ceiling shot.
Oh, was that when they beat
Uh,
Turbo?
what
Or
was
no?
that?
Was that when they beat Turbo or no?
I don't think so. That was season
Yeah.
6 when they won the whole thing.
Okay. Yeah.
This was versus Method, and it was like the first ceiling shot in RLCS.
Okay.
And it was very, very crazy.
Big fan of mechanics out here.
Yeah.
Um. So I know, like, what did you do, or what do you do now, right? Seeing as you've retired from Rocket League back in like late 2018, because I know it says on
Yeah.
Wikipedia like February 2019, but I imagine the thoughts were there prior, months prior. What do you do now, like after outside
Right
of Rocket League?
now, I work at an escape room that's just close to my house. And I also am in community college, working to get my degree in something. Not really sure what yet, but I'm still using this time to like sort of figure out what it is that I want to do long term.
No, so yeah, you don't have like a major or anything like that. No.
Hmm.
Okay. See, here's the deal for the audience. This is the one thing in this entire interview that I knew before that he told me. So I do have something about the escape room because I've thought about this, right? The escape room. So with COVID and all that, how what did you what kind of precautions did you guys take with like cleaning the escape room and like hours and stuff like that? Like how did hours change and how did the situation change there after that happened?
Yeah. So I live in California, so the restrictions are definitely a lot more severe than most places in the country.
Hmm.
So for the like 3 months, we were completely shut down. But after that, we like sent an order to the city saying like, "Hey, this is what we're gonna do to reopen," which basically is just like a super super high grade disinfectant that we go through and clean just about everything in between games. And we also limit how many people are inside the building at a time.
Yeah, like you take like wipes, their wipes or whatever that you do, or is it the sprays in a bottle? I imagine, yeah. Sprays
Yeah,
in a
it's
bottle.
a spray, then we wipe it down.
So okay, why did you retire? Like, what
Um,
was the driving force?
yeah, so I would say that I definitely more so consider that I retired in like mid 2018.
Hmm.
So RLRS, the season that I played in with Geno Cop and Gambit, ended the end of 2017. And then at the beginning of that next year, Geno Cop ended up having a collapsed lung, so he wasn't going to be
Hmm.
able to play the next time. And I tried doing it with Gambit and one other person, and it just didn't work out. And at that time, the meta was sort of shifting to be super, super demo heavy.
Hmm.
And I found that I just wasn't enjoying it anymore because it felt
There.
like people were going for stuff just for the sake of it, not like with a purpose behind it. So it didn't feel as skillful.
Hmm.
And I just started to lose interest in the game and didn't have the drive to play it and get better like I used to.
The error of Pepiope, is that how you say it? Pepiope, Pepiope. I know that guy was crazy with the demos. I remember.
Hmm.
And it's just yeah. I feel like the meta has like full on change to like just go because you can kind of thing where you're not
Hmm.
there shouldn't ever be a thought of like what happens when you don't go basically like you
Yeah.
just go if you want to go you go no hesitation ever that's what
Hmm.
it is at now. So on Wikipedia I see you have a team for 6 months, right? It was called Small Balls, right? And it doesn't have a page. So what was the
Uh-huh.
team, and why did you stick it out for such a long time? Because I think that was the most you've stayed on a team as far as Wikipedia is concerned. That's the most time you spent on
Yeah.
one team.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that just isn't updated.
Mhm.
Because I definitely don't remember being on
I
that
was
team
I
for
was
that
worried. I
long.
was worried about this answer. By the way, I swear to God, that's the one thing I was thinking. I was like, Wikipedia may have this completely wrong. This may not even be a team. Like, it's very possible.
Yeah, I think that was. I'm trying to remember who even was on that team. That might have been when I was playing with Gambit, and because that was after RLRS, correct?
I think so. I think so. Yeah. That would have been
Yeah, so I
the
believe that
second to
was
last
me
team or
playing
the
with.
last team on Wikipedia. I think.
Mhm. I'm just like legitimately don't even remember it.
Yeah, no, yeah. I'm like, small balls. He's gonna have this great story about it's with two of my friends, and I really loved them, and we were just playing it because whatever, and it was just a great atmosphere. Like that's what I was hoping for going in.
I like legitimately don't know.
Someone leaked it out there, dude. I'm telling you, someone had an announcement or something like that. Someone on the team, maybe it's the third, right? Someone on the
Honestly, it
team.
was probably just like some tournament we did.
Man, that is crazy. Yeah, that is insane. I'm really, yeah, I'm
Here, I
surprised
think
by
I
that.
found it.
Mhm.
RLCS season 5. Uh,
Let me guess, they just
it was
didn't. Yeah,
it
continue.
was me, Nap, and Fresno.
Got it. Okay. Like
Yeah, I
Nap.
didn't even remember that.
Okay, and I imagine they had the team from the start date that you joined RLCS all the way to like next RLCS probably. That's probably
Yeah.
what they did. Yeah,
Mm.
that's interesting. That's really interesting.
Here, if
Mm.
you know that name.
Yeah, yeah, I know
Um,
every name, like just about like when you said Sir Pancake, I know Sir Pancake with the three eyes or
yeah,
whatever
I
afterwards.
just ran into him today
Oh, really? That
in
guy still
a
plays.
in a
That's what's
tournament
crazy.
game.
Uh huh. That's
Yeah, it was an
crazy.
SSL tournament game, and I ran into him.
Wow. See, I remember being in the top 100 solo standard in like season 4 and that man was there at like top 30 and that's who
Yeah.
I played my all my solo standard matches. That's the most I remember him for. Um
Mm,
so you had an interview with Dazarin, right? Back in
mm,
2017 when you guys made the first ever RLRS, right? And
mm.
in it, you talk about your love or appreciation, newfound appreciation for photography. So, do you
Hmm.
still do photography? And if so, can we see some pictures? I'll put the pictures in post. Yeah, but
um, I definitely have not been doing it nearly as much anymore.
mhm.
In fact, since that interview, I don't even really think I've taken all that many new pictures.
Yeah,
At least none that are like up to my quality that I would prefer.
mhm.
Um, it's definitely something that I still like occasionally will like grab a camera that we have in the house and just spend a day out enjoying what's out there and like taking pictures of what I see and stuff.
Mhm.
Um, but it's definitely not something that I do nearly as often as I used to.
Yeah. Now that I know you're from California, it makes perfect sense as to why the second thing was surfing. Because I was like,
Yeah.
surfing, the heck. So do you actually still do surfing and when Sis and Jacob and all of them were doing the accent, were you doing the accent at that point? Because if you remember,
Uh,
they had an accent that they did, and it was like, "Yo, he's trying to hit the ball, bro." Ugh. They do
I
that.
don't remember that,
You don't remember? Oh my
unfortunately.
god, such an error. For like a year, it was Sis and Rizzo and all them doing a certain like there was a certain way of speaking, and everyone did it. I kid you not. Like everyone in B
Hmm.
plus, they would talk like, "Yo, he's going for the ball. He's dog, bro. Oh my god." Like that is how they would. That is genuinely how they would talk. There's people that will watch this will be like, yes, exactly. I was thinking, I know a lot of those guys, Turtle, people like that, are from California. How much? This is, by the way, this is a on the fly question. I didn't even have this, but what's it called? Like coming from U.S. West, I know like Dapper talks about like U.S. West. Even in U.S. West, he's like U.S. West is terrible for trying to be a pro. He's like, look at like U.S. West. How many people are left out of U.S. West that are pro nowadays that don't just move to
Mhm.
U.S. East? Like, how big was that an issue back then when I don't feel like servers were as bad as they were now?
Um, I definitely feel like it's gotten much worse.
Yes.
But that's also partially just because like the pace of play is a lot faster now, so
Mm.
those milliseconds
A lot
are
more
more
50s.
noticeable.
Yeah, a lot more 50s and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely something that's always been there. And like do still play the game pretty often recently. And it's horrible. Like it's if you ever listen to people talk about it, like Dapper still lives on the West Coast. Chicago is someone who's from LA.
Mhm.
He's now in New York at the G2 house.
Mhm.
He talks about when he moves back home in off season, he does not play on East servers because it's that bad.
Yeah, I was
AJ as
Dapper
well.
was saying that he was like, I actually prefer East servers over West servers, which was interesting. Like at one point he was like, I don't even like West servers are bad in general, like worse than they
Yeah.
are for East whenever you're in East.
Hmm. Yeah, I predominantly only queue East. In fact, like during my quote prime, I would say,
Yeah.
I was queuing. I think I was queuing 4 or 5 regions at the time. So I'd queue
Yeah,
US,
you would
East, and
probably queue
West.
US or OCE. You would probably queue OSE.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because servers were fine. Like servers, OCE was playable even for me in East back in like
Mhm.
season 5, season 6. It's definitely not
Yeah,
playable
I
anymore.
used I used to play on European servers,
Hmm.
and I'm so as far west in the United States as you can get, and I was playing out in European servers, and
Yeah,
it was definitely playable.
yeah, it was
So,
probably what 140, 160 ping probably. I'd imagine.
it
I felt
usually
like
ranged
ping went
between I
up.
think like 160 and 180.
Yeah, because it's like yeah, ping goes up every season. Like it's in 4 to 8 ping every single season. I feel like,
Yeah.
and it doesn't make any sense. Uh, what's what is your top players? And obviously, I feel like Kronovi's got to be up there, seeing as now I know like you're big friends with Kronovi.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely early on was Kronovi. I mean, whose
who
favorite
wasn't?
player
Yeah.
wasn't Kronovi
Hmm.
back then?
True.
um, really big fan of Justin. He was
Hmm.
someone that I was actually pretty close friends with as well. So like seeing him and like all his success is really cool to see. Same thing with Garrett, both energy players, of course.
Yeah.
Not going to talk about the third member on that team.
Oh, interesting. Really?
uh,
No, no.
yeah,
You're
some
not you're
like
not with him.
small slight beef from
Oh,
a long time
interesting.
ago.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, look, this
We
would
can
have
get
been
into
five
it if
years
you want,
ago. I
but
mean, this would be 5 years ago, so Squishy would have been like 13 or something, right? Or what? Squishy would have been like
this
15,
was
13.
3.5 years ago,
Okay.
so I think he was like 16, 15.
I don't personally have an excuse for people like that. Like after 16, I feel like 16 is the cutoff. I actually don't feel like 18 is the cutoff. 16 is the cutoff for me. Where I'm like, this
Yeah.
person isn't changing. This is not hard.
Yeah, I mean, we can get more into that. I laugh at it now, but
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, I like that. I like the idea of like even I only really hate, or hate is a strong word. I only really dislike like 3 people in the community, and even then, when I talk about them with people, it's just like yeah, it's whatever. They're good players. Like even if I hate them, like I'm still never like in denial of their skill. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Things like
Hmm.
that. So Justin and Garrett G. I mean, yeah, let's go into the squishy thing if we get time. See, I was thinking this went by kind of quick. I don't know what time we're on right now. Let me check. Okay, we're on
All
16 and
right.
a half minutes. So yeah, to have this, like, I wanted to get it in the 20 and 30 minute time. So let's get into this. Let's get into the squishy beef.
All right.
Yeah,
So this was season 3 of RLCS. Squishy's team was Team Iris,
yeah.
the one that
Lucinio
was
and yeah.
yeah, it was Squishy, Torment, Lichinio. They were number 1 seed in the qualifier. They had TSM lined up. It was like the dream team. They were going to take RLCS by storm, and then they lost in the qualifiers.
Mm-hmm.
And at this time, there was the Mocket Championship Series, which was essentially the RLRS of the time.
Yeah.
So I ended up playing that with Corrupt and Hato. And in the qualifiers, the 3 of us ended up beating Iris in a best of 7 series. We beat them 4-3. And I just like innocently tweeted out like GG's, we qualify
Oh,
for whatever.
the
And then
death.
Squishy ended up blocking me on Steam and on Twitter after that.
Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah, I have very big moments of that. I literally had a moment like that like 2 days ago where I played Calm in a twos game, right? Just some random twos game. I had him on my friends list going into it, and then I came
Mhm.
out of the twos game victorious. But at the end of the day, I lost because he removed me from his friends list. Like after I won the dude, it
Yeah.
was like so weird. It's so weird. I've never. I don't think I've ever unfriended someone after they beat me in a game or like
Mhm.
anything. Even if they were to like tell me GGs in like the chat, it's just like, okay, dude,
It's the
okay, like
game.
awesome, that's cool, yeah, thank you. Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
weird. Like, have you ever had the moment where someone you tell them your accomplishment or something, and then they'll come back with like a well, but like a rebuttal or like trying to belittle the accomplishment. You ever had people like that?
Oh, all the time
all day.
because I have a
Yeah.
blue tag all the time.
All day. Yeah. It's like, yeah, they have something to say about everything. Like everyone has something to say negative about every accomplishment. There are people, even with like Turbo, right, where it's like, yeah, 4 championships, but it's like there's no but. Like it's so weird that people can have a slight with accomplishments of any sort,
Yeah.
any kind. It's the top
Mm.
100 all the way up to like 4-time world champions. Well, I am out of questions. If you got something to talk about, let's go for it. Because we flew through this.
Um, I will say, as of right now, I'm like currently giving myself this year 2021 to like try and go pro again.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Also going to try and pursue content creation alongside that. So it'll
Like the
definitely be
Twitch, the
interesting.
Discord, or sorry, the Twitch, the like YouTube stuff, or like
Mm-hmm.
Twitch.
Yeah, so I have a Twitch, so I want to start streaming. I want to make some YouTube videos, and I also made a TikTok recently.
Got it. Yeah, no, TikTok. Dude, I'm okay, I'm on the point where I feel like if you're not making content on TikTok and you have a TikTok, there's a cutoff age. It's like 20 or 21. That's your cutoff age in TikTok. Because once you get past that, if you're me and you're not doing content on TikTok and you have TikTok, that's sus, bro. It's sus. There's so much weird.
It's a scarily addicting app, though.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, that's what they do, right?
It's like, but also like for creators, like hearing some other people talk about it, like it's insane.
Oh yeah,
The
what they
like
do
the
what they
amount of
do with the
eyes.
algorithm. What they do with the algorithm. I'll
Yeah.
tell you. There's literally an algorithm on TikTok where basically the first 1 or 2 videos that you ever do will get absolutely like you'll blow up from like 1 or 2, and then the next ones are like nothing like that, and it's just for like they'll give you a huge like boost of like I can do this, I can make this work for your first video, and then like everything else after that is like just it's the numbers you should be getting realistically, and
Yeah.
then but you're like no I've got it, I got there, like I got there once, I can get there again, you know what I mean? That's it's kind of like Rocket League in a way. Rocket League, you grind 100 points in one day, and then you like slowly go down over time, and then you're like no I can get back there, I did it
That
once,
was me
I
this
could
season.
yeah, I know. Yeah, I know that. Like, dude, Rocket League is there's so many. I mean, there's so many things about Rocket League. What I have found for like the meta, especially the meta in RL is. I mean, I just had a conversation about this today. The meta in RL is very much, it's positionless. You know what I mean? Have you ever you watch like the NBA and stuff like that?
I'm not a big sports guy.
Not a big sports guy. Okay. Well, LeBron is playing like point guard, or he could basically at this point he is so good at basketball that he can play any position, and that's where Rocket League's headed, where every person should be able to change your play style to a monkey play style or a third man play style or anything like super fast. You know what I mean? Like, as in you should be able to like after a goal, if your coach says, "Yo, you got a monkey," you can just instantly change your play style and go for a monkey play. And
Yeah.
if there's 1 or 2 people that cannot go for crazy mechanical, really speedy plays, then your team is at a disadvantage. Like that's how I feel. To bring up the team that I am referring to, there is a team, Epic Johnny, Chief Walrus, and Gear, right? And I had a conversation with Gear, and I was basically essentially telling him like, Chief needs to be Monkey now. If Chief isn't Monkey, like there's no way, because you need someone to back up the next person, because Gear is a Monkey, and he needs another person. Like once he's got no boost, he needs another person to take over that role. If you don't got someone, can't do it. So my advice for you, Prim, is big workshop maps, big free play hours. Like that is genuinely the best way, because like that's how I improved in a 2-3 months time span or whatever. I did workshop maps the most.
I'm down to a consistent sub 4 minute on the DMC Rings map 3.
DMC. Oh, consistent sub. Okay, yeah, that's good. I'm trying to remember if mine's like Yeah, I think it's like 350, 340. Yeah, I know there's people that just fly to that map. Yeah, sometimes. No, yeah, that should be the goal is to like, and I love that. I love that about workshop maps, especially the timed ones, is you
Mhm.
realize you can actually see the improvement in the time, whereas you
Yeah.
can't really see it in Rocket League. I mean, ranks, yeah, but like, you know that it could just be a good day, whereas with that, it's like consistent times. It's like, oh yeah,
Mhm.
I like Trackmania Turbo, racing game. It's like a rally game that has
Yeah.
times like that. Yeah. No, that's great. Yeah, shout out your YouTube stuff like that, Twitch, your socials, and I'll just put them down in the description.
The main one that I'll just advertise is my Twitch. It's twitch.tv/prem and then an underscore.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah.
and then if you want to put something down in the description afterwards, I have a link tree. If you know
Hmm.
what that is.
I do not. Oh yeah, it's like it has every single social on it basically. Yeah.
Yeah. So I
Um,
could just get.
you have a Twitter because Liquipedia doesn't have your Twitter. I can get in contact with someone and get them to add your Twitter onto Liquipedia. Because you
Alright,
have
yeah.
nothing on Liquipedia. Like if you need your Twitter and your Twitch and everything to be on Liquipedia under your page, I can do that. I can make that happen, without a doubt.
Alright.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah. If you want to follow me on Twitter, watch my progress if I can try and make it pro again this year.
Yeah,
It's just at ttv_prem underscore.
yeah. Anyway, I'm Pro Rider, and you are,
I'm Prem.
and we'll see you next time. Yes, sir. No, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I would definitely say that
Um,
the people that I still interact with and even did back then are like I interacted with them for a reason. So like Dapper's a big one. He's just a very chill person.
yeah, he seems like that. Yeah, coming off.
Yeah, he also lives like 30 minutes away from me. So me and him went to a couple months back and are gonna once they open back up are gonna start going every weekend again.
Yeah, that's good.
So like that's someone that I've stayed in contact with. Spuda is another guy. Torment.
Hmm.
Uh,
Is Torment West?
no.
Oh, okay, got it. I was like, are all these guys people you can just hang out with in real life all the time? Like, that's what I was wondering. Because you were like Spuda, Dapper. I'm like, okay, they're both West, I think. So I was like, okay, hold on, is he naming West player? Yeah. I was like, is Torment West?
Who else is there? Kronovi was
Really?
like a
Would have never
chill
guessed. I would have never guessed it was Kronovi. Yeah, no, that's
trying to think of who else. For a while, my friend group was Justin, Lachinio, Squishy, Gimmick, and then Chelsea at the time.
Mm.
And we would always play like Gang Beasts and stuff.
Yeah, how does that? Okay, how does that genuinely like affect you? Because like all those guys, all those people that you've listed off have like made big, prominent, like big careers and stuff like that, with streaming and all that. And so like, do you expect that you'll get like hosts and stuff like that when you do streaming and content and stuff like that, or no? Do you expect that you'll get a host here and there if you reach out
At this
and make
point,
it known? No.
Just because I've been out of the scene for so long that I am going into it sort of with fresh eyes.
Mhm.
And I'm hopeful but not expecting, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
That makes sense. I'm putting this controller up until I can figure out a way to get to GameStop because GameStop was closed for a while, and I was like, "What? How am I gonna get to GameStop?" And then I've had like this such, yeah, I've had this such beef with Game. No, you're right. You're right. It's like I've had such a beef with GameStop, and then now in the last couple of days I've just been seeing GameStop, and it's just like PTSD for me, where I'm like, GameStop here, GameStop over there, like it's so bad. I don't like GameStop. There's a reason why people are doing it with these companies, because they're failing, because they suck. Like you're helping GameStop, but they suck like as a company.
Well, yeah, it's not even necessarily like who it is. It's who's behind. It's not like they don't
has
care.
nothing. It has nothing to do with the actual company. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I get it. But it's like, God, Like there's a reason why GameStop's failing. It's because it's the video games equivalent of Blockbuster. Okay, there's a reason why. Like it is literally Blockbuster. Now I tell you how GameStop can make it. I tell you how GameStop can make it actually. The only way that GameStop will make it is if they do like an EA stuff where it's every month
like
you pay for a
service?
subscription. Yes. Do that. GameStop is like the seller of video games, right? Why can't they make a streaming service where it's like you pay this much money per month and you get these games from us for a certain amount? You know what I mean? That's the only way.
Yeah, I'm just like personally like imagining all the like licensing issues with all that.
No, it wouldn't be that big because GameStop has license with with Xbox and PS4, like the actual companies themselves. They sell out special consoles and stuff like that. No, you wouldn't have a problem with that. Like because at the end of the day, they are a seller for Xbox and PS4. They're not really rivaling Xbox or PS4 in any kind of way. They're selling their games out. Like and so it's like I mean, now, to be fair, Xbox and PS4 already now have their own ways of selling their games. They don't even really need. They've cut out GameStop as the middleman at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think they could. I think they have enough relevance. If they would have done it 6 months ago, they easily could have got away with it. But now their brand's kind of tarnished to where it's like, why would you want to work with them? They're failing. Like it's clear that they're failing. From Microsoft's perspective, it's like, why would we work with you? You're about to die out. Like. Well, let's cut you off. That brings up a really good point because that's what Microsoft did with PS4 back before the PS4 in the Xbox 360 PS3 days, right? Sony wanted to work with Microsoft, right? But Microsoft said, we think we're like better. Like you're gonna die out, and why would we help you be relevant still, right? And so
because that was Halo 3 days.
Yes. So Microsoft was like, why would we work with you, right? And then after PS4 happened, and the Xbox One happened, then Microsoft came to Sony and they were like, let's collab, guys. And then Sony was like, screw you, you guys are about to die out. No, like, it's interesting. It's interesting how that works. Yeah, it's really interesting how that works. Yeah. But that's why I think they'll do that to GameStop because they have a history of doing that. That is actually what they do.